What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here from DataDash, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you are, because in today's video I want to spend some time to talk about one of the biggest adoption related updates when it comes to one of my favorite layer 1 protocols in the crypto and Web3 space, Radix DLT. Now, if you followed the channel for long enough, you know that I've been a big fan of Radix. I followed the project since back in 2018, and while the project was building behind the scenes, solving for the critical issues where Ethereum and Solana have struggled over the last couple of years, building the proper Web3 experience that we need to reach mainstream adoption, Radix has finally started to come out into the forefront over the last year or two, starting to roll out programs to encourage user adoption of this new protocol, which can always be a big friction point for a lot of L1s. Well, in the case of Radix DLT, they've recently launched RadQuest. Now, RadQuest is this really awesome approach towards not only giving people an easy and streamlined way towards getting familiar with the Radix network, setting up your wallet, engaging with dApps or certain types of transactions, learning about the critical user experience improvements that Radix brings versus the traditional Web3 experience with Ethereum and Solana. But beyond that as well, it also gives you an ability to earn substantial amounts of XRD versus prior programs in the past. And it allows you to also have new unique experiences that many haven't already encountered within the Radix ecosystem. It's a really awesome gamified experience that I think I've yet to see in the crypto space across any protocols or dApps. So this is going to be really exciting, and I think is going to be a big bolster for Radix adoption over the next couple of months. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and spend some time to talk about what RadQuest is. Now, the first thing to mention right off the bat is if you're already interested in trying out RadQuest, it's live here today. You can use the link down below in the description, and it'll take you to the main website, whether you're on your mobile phone or your desktop browser. It's built for both experiences. And I think this is really cool because it not only casts a wide net, allowing for pretty much anyone to get onboarded into the Radix ecosystem and get familiar with some of its features, but outside of that as well, gives an ability for everyone to earn as well. This was a project collaboration between the Radix team and Us2. Now, Us2 is a well-known developer studio in the mobile space that's focused on building a whole range of applications, from professional fintech applications to nonprofit initiatives, and even some of the largest mobile games throughout history, like Monument Valley, names that I'm very familiar with. So I think that this is really cool to see Radix working with such a professional studio to really go beyond the kind of bubble that we've been in the crypto space and actually reach a wider audience of people, the people in which we need to bring into Web3 so desperately over the next couple of years if we want to realize the proper vision of Web3. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive directly into RadQuest. RadQuest, as you can see, is made up of multiple different educational courses on the basics of Radix, as well as basic tasks like getting your wallet set up and making your first token transfer. But beyond that, there are also more advanced tasks within the platform that will allow you to earn higher rewards and be able to get involved with things like staking, swaps, and also referring friends, further growing the virality of Radix. Now, it is important to note here as well that we're going to need the Radix wallet. One of the tasks is related to setting this up, but I know some of you might already have your wallet set up as well. Again, really cool thing here about Radix that's already being featured here is that essentially we're able to connect our desktop experience with our mobile wallet. So this is already a really great thing, not to mention we're not just choosing an on-chain address, some 0x address with multiple letters and numbers. We're connecting a persona. These personas can be customizable and utilized for particular different applications, only revealing particular information with the application that we want to share. And we can see here within the UI, there are multiple different tasks like setting up the wallet. It walks through every single step and will allow you to understand some of the core features like Radix accounts. And what I think is so cool about RadQuest is that within just a few minutes of engaging in the project, you get direct experience in some of the biggest user experience overhaul we have seen in the crypto and Web3 space in years that Radix is bringing to the user experience. Things like smart accounts, whereby you no longer have to write down a 12 or 24 word seed phrase. You of course can do that, but you can also use smart recovery mechanisms that are much more familiar to the Web2 experience that we've come to know and love. And outside of that as well, you can also utilize multiple personas. So you might have one for more game-styled experiences like RadQuest or some other GameFi project, but you might also have one that has KYC data or KYB data for various different types of DeFi applications, where you need a separate identity or level of data or information you're revealing, maybe even separate NFT badges that confirm you've gone through some type of verification process or have authority to interact with that application. These are just some of the things that you can experience within RadQuest, but you also learn about transaction manifest and so much more. I could go on and on about it here, but I think the really cool thing above all is that you're engaging in some of the core transactions and see how these benefits start to play to your advantage, providing a clear and more trustworthy Web3 experience. We're dealing with our funds here. We're talking about new users coming into the crypto space. We've got to make it incredibly familiar, and we can't keep setting the bar low like we have for the last couple of years on the Ethereum network or Solana, whereby the unfortunate pitfalls of Web3 that we've known for the last couple of years have become normalized to such an extent that we simply brush them off as a part of the experience. Radix in this case, through RadQuest, allows you to avoid these pitfalls and start to see essentially the value that Radix is bringing to the overall Web3 experience. And one of the tasks where I think the team did a really phenomenal job is the swap tokens on a DEX task. This not only gets new users familiar with decentralized exchanges if they don't already know what they are, but beyond that, it showcases some of the really amazing built-in features of the Radix network that make swapping so much better versus traditional L1s. They do this through a custom-built DEX called LettySwap, focused on Letty, the otter mascot of RadQuest. And essentially from this, we can start to see one of the core features within Radix's network called deposit guarantees that essentially make sure that a swap will only go through if we get a particular amount of crypto that we are promised. So essentially within the network, we don't have to trust any exchange. We don't have to trust any external APIs or data points. The wallet here is guaranteeing that a swap on-chain will not go through unless we get some minimum. In most cases, you will be able to conduct that transaction, but this protects you essentially from facing high degrees of slippage during very volatile and extensive markets, and allows you to make sure that you're not going to be facing large amounts of losses or get a rate that is really unfair or far from what you were intending to get when you made a swap. Again, another major UX overhaul that so many networks fail on, and essentially a user experience that I think we're going to need in order to actually get ourselves towards mainstream adoption within crypto. Now, one of the coolest features about RadQuest, beyond the ability to earn Radix or XRD tokens for your activities, is the ability to earn gift boxes within RadQuest. Now, at first, this might just seem like gamification, and it is definitely a part of RadQuest's gamification, but it also opens your eyes to the unique possibilities that Radix offers when it comes to NFTs. So when you open these gift boxes, you're going to get the ability to open up cards or rad gems, allowing you to create what's known as rad morphs. These are unique, custom created NFTs on-chain that are defined by the variables or inputs that you put into them. This is something I've never seen in the crypto space before. So in this case, we're going to use a morph energy card known as a hydrothermal vent. This is a unique collection. There's only 50 that will ever be in existence. It's a limited edition. So once you essentially select the card, this is going to help to define how your NFT looks, and you can utilize these unique gems that you've earned along the way. Some are more common, some are more rare. But by selecting a certain amount of rad gems with your card, you can mint a unique rad morph NFT. And I have to tell you guys, this is probably one of the coolest things I've seen in the NFT space. You can see how the product will look in the end, and this is something that is not just within the Web2 experience. It's not just living in RadQuest and you can come back and look at it. This is a real asset that is going to be sent towards your wallet. This for me was probably one of the coolest demos or experiences that I've seen around NFTs in the Web3 space in the last few years. Because whereas NFTs have been relatively stagnant and everyone plays the same playbook of having an artist go out and create 1,000 NFTs that have slight variations and differences, all created by one artist or studio, in this case, on-chain, I'm able to create a custom, genuinely unique NFT with on-chain assets in a trustless manner. This is something I haven't seen in the NFT sector, and I think showcases that beyond just obviously rad morphs and whatever that might become in the future, the capability of NFTs within Radix could be a killer application, allowing for more institutional or enterprise adoption and utilization of NFTs as unique identifiers, or for new unique experiences for everyday retail participants to go out and create and design really amazing things. I think this is going to allow for GameFi to also expand as well, and for things we just haven't seen within the Web3 experience that we were promised with NFTs. Overall, this is one of the most comprehensive onboarding experiences I've seen for a layer 1 protocol on crypto. And it's obviously not only a great way to get involved within the ecosystem and get familiar with how to utilize Radix, but outside of that as well, it's a great way to earn. You can get up to $10 worth of Radix or a couple hundred tokens by simply referring an individual to RadQuest. So if you're referring a couple dozen friends into the ecosystem, getting people familiar with Web3, you can earn some serious XRD with it as well. Probably one of the best referral programs that have been on the Radix network yet. So I definitely recommend you guys check that out. Of course, it's one of the tasks within the link down below in the description on radquest.io. But above all, I wanted to go ahead and emphasize that RadQuest is just one of many updates here within the Radix network. There are a whole range of major developments being published week after week after week. Over the past few months, Radix has made some huge progress in Project Ignition, which is all focused around bringing new users into the ecosystem and really taking Radix, which for the last couple of years had been focused on the tech, now finally focusing on the offensive, on marketing and branding and getting people aware of what the team has built now that they have perfected the Web3 experience, in my personal view. You can see that they have Radix Connect for mobile. So now you can interact in an entirely mobile fashion. It's not just desktop as we discussed earlier, being able to interact directly from a mobile browser. But beyond that as well, they have a 250 million XRD reward that they released back in late May, over $10 million in XRD rewards for those who are going out there and building the next killer applications to break through on Web3 adoption over the long term and make Radix the staple protocol for these applications. And they also have a lot of different things like the super staking program, where by essentially engaging in liquid staking, there's over $14 million in additional rewards. So there's a ton of really cool things going on here. We talked about Project Ignition, the liquidity program that Radix launched back a couple months ago, where you can essentially provide liquidity to some of the major DEXs like OchiSwap and Caviar 9, some of the leading DeFi applications within the broader Radix space. But beyond all that as well, there's tons of progress when it comes to adoption. Over 100,000 downloads on iOS and Android for the Radix wallet, which again, guys, will say as someone who's built a wallet before, predominantly in the Ethereum ecosystem, I have to say is one of the cleanest user experiences I've seen. And again, can only offer some of these great features due to the native capabilities of the Radix network. It's not just that they built a great wallet, it's that the Radix network offers things that you just couldn't get with traditional networks. Or even if you wanted to sort of replicate some of these features, it was incredibly tiresome and you had to rely on a whole range of third parties and trusted sources. This to me is where I believe at the end of the day, Radix is going to stand out in a big way. If you guys are interested to learn about some of these user experience improvements or learn about the developer experience, which I think is equally important to understanding how Radix and Scripto are radically different for developers and allow for building much greater applications at much greater speeds, then definitely check out the main website and check out the full stack section in the Learn section of the website. It is a great primer for those of you who really want to learn about why I'm so genuinely bullish on this protocol and how the team has been able to actually learn from the mistakes of the past with Ethereum, Solana, and many other predominant on ones that usually focus on either offering a kind of traditional Web3 experience or just solving one or two issues. Radix solves a whole range of them. They've built a scalable network. They've built a much better developer experience, and they have the user experience that's going to allow for mainstream adoption in the long run. If you're interested to learn more, check out the links down below in the description, but I've rambled on a good amount today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like. It's one of the greatest ways you can support the content here in this channel. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to join the Radix Telegram or Discord. You're also welcome to check them out on Twitter or X. So again, check out the relevant links as well down in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. I'll see you all later.